Welcome to our ESL story series. In this series, we'll take you on a journey of self-discovery, overcoming challenges, and finding deeper meaning in life. Each story features relatable characters, dramatic twists, and powerful lessons that will help you improve your English vocabulary, reading comprehension, and conversation skills. But before we get started, review the glossary to understand the key vocabulary. And while you are reading, focus on understanding the character's emotions, the character's motivations, and the relationships. My advice to you is to pause at dramatic moments to predict what might happen next. And after reading, reflect on the story using the discussion questions that I post along the way, and also consider how the themes apply to your own life. But before you start this reading, I'd like you to bear the following questions in mind. What are the protagonist's challenges? And how do they change over the course of the story? And how does the antagonist influence the story's events? And what moral lesson or what life lesson does the story teach? If you're ready, let's dive into the glossary, our vocabulary with examples and pronunciation tips. So let's run through this really quickly. Undermine, to weaken someone's confidence. Pitch, to present an idea. Sabotage, to deliberately damage or prevent someone's success. Manipulative, using unfair methods to influence others. Improvise, to perform something without preparation. Insecurities, feelings of anxiety. Toxic, harmful or destructive. Resilience, the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. The weight of shadows. The conference room was bathed in sterile fluorescent light. Evelyn Hayes sat at the far end of the polished oak table, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Her pencil skirt, bought just for this presentation, and tailored blouse were immaculate, but the nervous tapping of her heel against the floor betrayed her inner turmoil. Even though she was prepared and had practiced the speech more than 50 times, she was a mess. Across from her, Victor Malone leaned back in his leather chair, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. He was everything that she despised, the reason she wanted to quit. The only thing that kept her here was the money, the paycheck that paid for her mother's medical care. She glanced over at Victor, noted the charcoal gray suit that screamed authority, and new chin implant. Revulsion rolled through her and grew as his condescending tone cut through the room like a blade. "This is your big moment, Evelyn," Victor said, tossing a file onto the table. "Don't blow it." Evelyn's stomach tightened. She had worked tirelessly on the pitch, pouring weeks of effort into crafting a design that she believed could redefine urban housing. But Victor's words, dripping with challenge and condescension, made her question everything. If only he would quit, if only he would quit, because there was no way that she could. "I won't," she said, forcing confidence into her voice. Victor's smirk deepened. "We'll see about that the last time," he said, then laughed. He didn't need to go on. She knew that she had blown it the last time. She had spent the night before that presentation at the hospital with her mother and had rushed straight back to work in day-old clothes and makeup to present. It had not gone well. The sun filtered weakly through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the boardroom as Evelyn set up her presentation. Her heart raced as the prestigious clients, an influential real estate group, filed in, their expensive suits and sharp gazes intimidating. As she clicked through her slides, something was wrong. The images were distorted, and key parts of her presentation were missing. Her carefully rehearsed speech faltered. Panic clawed at her throat. Was it happening again? Was Victor right that she was not cut out for this? Out of the corner of her eye, she caught Victor's smug expression. He had sabotaged her work. She was sure of it. She could see it in that smirk, the way he leaned back in his seat and shook his head. For a moment, Evelyn froze, but then something shifted inside her, a spark of defiance. Before we go any further, I'd like you to think about these questions. Why does Victor undermine Evelyn? And how does Evelyn overcome the sabotage during her presentation? And what lesson does Victor learn by the end of the story? I apologize for the technical issues, she said, her voice steady. Let me tell you what I see beyond these slides. She stepped away from the screen and began to speak from her heart. She painted a vivid picture of her vision, affordable housing that combined modern aesthetics with environmental sustainability. She shared stories of families who would thrive in these spaces and backed her ideas with solid financial data she knew by heart. The room fell silent, captivated by her passion. When she finished, the lead client, a sharp-eyed woman with a reputation for being hard to impress, stood up. "This is brilliant," she said. "We want to move forward with your concept." Back at the office, Victor cornered her. "You went off script," he hissed. "Do you have any idea how risky that was?" "It worked," Evelyn said, meeting his gaze. For the first time, she didn't feel small under his scrutiny. "And I'm done letting you undermine me." Victor's facade cracked. Beneath his arrogance, there was a flicker of insecurity. "Me," he boomed. "Sabotage you?" "Did I say sabotage? Or did you?" She countered, squaring her slim shoulders. "You think you will surpass me?" he snapped, his brow furrowing, and she caught the fear in his eyes. Evelyn stared at him, stunned. "Victor, you've already lost. Not because of me, but because of the way you treat people. Someone will take over. Maybe me, maybe not me. But your days are numbered. This is a new world, and treating people the way you do," she finished with a shrug. Victor looked away, his shoulders slumping. For the first time, he seemed almost human and completely defeated. In the weeks that followed, Evelyn's project became the cornerstone of the company's success. Victor stepped down, citing personal reasons. As he packed up his office, he left a note on Evelyn's desk. "You were right. I lost my way. Thank you for reminding me of what matters." Evelyn folded the note and slipped it into her bag. She had found her voice, and in doing so, she had changed more than just her own life. If you enjoyed this story, please take a moment to like and subscribe. And I'd like to know, have you ever worked with someone like Victor? And how did you handle it? Also, how can challenges like Evelyn's help us grow stronger? Join the conversation and comment below. And last but not least, do you think people like Victor can truly change? Why? Why not? I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd like to wrap up with a glossary of the key vocabulary, and if there were any words or phrases during this presentation that you didn't understand, please let me know in the comments below, and we will respond to all queries. We are here to help you elevate your English. But let's do a quick run through of the vocabulary and pronunciation. Focus on the pronunciation. Repeat after me. Undermine, undermine, fantastic. Pitch, pitch. Sabotage, sabotage. Manipulative, manipulative. Improvise, improvise. Insecurities, insecurities. Toxic, toxic. Resilience, resilience. Thank you for joining us today, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this story. Do you agree with the choices the characters made? And have you ever experienced a situation, a similar situation in your own life? And what would you have done differently if you had been in Evelyn's shoes? Thank you for joining us today